It is a Monday, August the 18th in the year of our Lord 2025. Coming at you with another podcast pregame. And I know I do these impromptu, and I've been doing it, I guess, for now, what? This may be the start of the fourth week, I don't even know. But I probably should start putting out links for this. But I guess the only way I could do that is if I do that through through another account, through a third party, to where people could tune in and not have to worry about, oh, is JAYREELZ there at 9:30? And then when they find out that I'm not, it's like, oh, he's not there yet. And they got to go back and forth. And I guess that's part of I don't want to go as far as saying the allure, but it's part of the impromptu, abrupt, and sudden, hey, look who's there. Uh-oh. Myers, what does that mean? Oh, wait a minute. Wait, let me ask you something. You know who is he from Pittsburgh? Are you guys related? What's going on with that? Scooter Doo. Yeah, I'm gonna shout him out right now if that's who it is. What? Yeah, who's Scooter Doo? Don't play coy now, if you know what I'm talking about. Maybe you guys are in cahoots for all I know. I'm waiting for your answer. Scooter Doo said hi. I'll look him up right now. I know his exact name. Hold on a second. That's somebody in real life. I know Scooby-Doo. I don't know Scooter Doo. And we all know that's a cartoon character. So, yeah, because I had a hater at me over the weekend, and I was in back and forth with him, and I had to call him out on his haterade. And he goes by the name here. I'll look it up right now. It's on my Instagram threads, though. Let's see. Yeah, for some reason, I don't know why, he was getting a kick out of... Oh, something went wrong. What's going on? All right. Yeah, he got a kick out of me talking to him and going back and forth on some nonsense, and then I had to shut it down because I'm not about that life. Even though he wants to... Hold on, I'm pulling it up now. Scooter Terry. Do you know who that person is? Because if you're asking me, are you going to start with that again? That's somebody in real life. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Wait, who's this guy? You don't know who he is? All right. Oh, Melly Mike. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can put that Young Black and Rich all you want. I'm not, let me see. You know what? I'm going to probably get shot down for that. Miles, can we be real here? Today's rap music's garbage. And I know that's coming from someone who's been there from the beginning, but it's garbage. And I give props to very few, if any. But come on, man, we gotta be real. The rap music today is just basura. I could come out with better music than that, and then people could say, oh yeah, right, so on and so forth. First of all, I'm a boom bap guy, and we know boom bap delivers. This trap, I don't even know what it is. No, play it, nah. That gets no burn on my speakers. You know, I should give it a shot, but again, I'm on live. I don't know who I'm gonna get stuck with guidelines as far as, whatchamacallit. That's the word I'm looking for. I know I'm trying to do 100 things at once right now. But, fam, I'm sure it's whack. I mean, let's call it, let's just, you know, I'm sure it's mad whack. Let me ask you something. So this Melly Mike or whatever he is, who can you compare him to? Let's start there. Who can you compare him to? Give me a comparison. And then maybe I'll play it if I don't get a copyright strike. That's what I'm looking, that's the word. Yeah, because obviously I don't have the license to play that. So therefore, I don't want to get struck down by the powers that be at YouTube because I was playing. Cole, what's going on, man? I know we talked over the weekend about the Michigan thing, which is a joke. I mean, seriously? Like, why? That is the biggest joke going when they already gave Jim Harbaugh a suspension and then now they want to give Sharon Moore a suspension. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. But, Yeah, compare Jelly, Mike, and Juice WRLD. Yeah, Juice WRLD, listen, rest in peace, but Juice WRLD did nothing for me. So, right there, that's strike one off the bat. And again, that's not knocking his music or whatever, but it does nothing. Big fat donut for me. So, and right, I understand I should give it a shot. You know what? What's the name of that song? I'm going to try to break it up, but it's not going to have the same feel. Just for you. 2 minutes and 32 seconds. Damn, that's a quick song. Maybe it's not loud enough. We'll see. Oh, it sounds slow. But I'm playing it just for you there, Miles. He's just talking over a beat. He's not doing anything. All right, here we go. Oh, now he speeds it up. Nah, not feeling it. Let me see. Message retracted. Yeah, not feeling it. I get you, Cole. Give me 1 second. I'm just responding to this because Felicia, a.k.a. Miles, he's been wanting me to play this song, and I don't want to get copyright, and I don't think I will because it was low, number one, and number two. But he's talking over the first 30 seconds, and then the beat speeds up, and then, yeah, he's got that same delivery everybody else has, and it's just, ain't doing it for me. It's not. And maybe offline, I'll listen to it, and I'll respond to you, Miles, and say, whatever, but nah. And it's not doing it for me. Sorry. Michigan got the hammer come down. It's made of chicken feathers, but I can't. Yeah, I don't understand why. I mean, it really makes no sense for the NCAA. What? Because they want to look like, hey, we're trying to police what's going on. We don't want to see cheating. Come on. You did that 2 years ago when Harbaugh was there. They won a title. And right, do you want to pinpoint whether or not that I forgot my other plug. I got to go back and get that. I'll do it afterwards. Same for college basketball. I mean, it's a joke. And it's been a joke for forever, let's face it, but even now more so with the NIL, and I mean, come on. Yeah, and we all know how popular college football is, and how they made it even that much more appealing with the expansion of the playoff. But, yeah, I mean, to go after Sharon Moore now, I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Are you still planning on making me a guest? I don't know. Can you talk sports, Miles? Because that's what we predominantly do. I'm not going to have people on just to talk about whatever. They still have a little say in college basketball just because the tournament is still... Right, no. And then they want to expand the tournament, maybe in 27 to 72 to 76 teams. Oh, no. Why? I understand. That's what it's about, but no. And again, this is why, and I'm glad you bring this up, Cole, because this is why sports, and I get it, just like life, everything. All right, you got to hold on that, Miles. That's why sports, despite the fact that, it's evolving, it's getting better, it's this, it's that. But is it really? I mean, when you look at the NFL expansion, and we all know it's about the almighty dollar, and that's all they care about, capitalism at its finest. But look at the wild card round over the last couple of years. The wild card round is a disaster. Nobody they watch, of course. They get 20, 30, 40 million, depending on the game. But it is just snooze fest. That Viking-Ram game Monday night, what did they win, 34-9 or whatever it was? I mean, the game was over. Steelers-Ravens, over. Chargers, Justin Herbert, 5 interceptions against the Texans, over. What else? Eagles and Packers. That game, I might as well would have gone to sleep. 20-12 was the final, but it was not exciting in the least. What else? Who played on the opening weekend? Tampa-Washington was good. That was a Sunday night game. That was actually the best game of the weekend. And the first game was Denver-Buffalo. Denver scores on that bomb touchdown, Bo Nix. So you think, wow, hey. After that, they weren't to be heard from. And let's get the extra team. Let's get this, a Monday night wildcard game. No, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But of course, They have no, I can't stand it. And baseball, listen, it's a marathon, as we all know, and we get to the postseason. Now, they're unpredictable, so that's good. Understanding last year that wasn't the case. You got Yankees-Dodgers, but when it comes to even some of the other sports, NBA, it's always the best team that wins. And now with the college football and even the NCAA, now the college football playoff, the Arizona State, who did they play last year? Which was a good game, Cam Scatterboo. Now, they were down 24-8. The game was bad, but then they, I'm drawing blanks right now. Ohio State, Notre Dame was and Penn State, Notre Dame was good, but Penn State imploded there at the end. But the college games were terrible, especially that opening round. I mean, SMU, Indiana, even the Oregon State game. I mean, it was 34-0 at the half. The game was over. And everybody thought that was going to be probably the best game of the whole tournament. But I tell you, man, sports, as much as I love it, and I will probably never divorce myself from it, but it has changed. And I get it. You got to adapt with the times, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's better. Yeah, I know. I always say that. No, this is water, filtered water. Not vodka. Way too early to start drinking that, especially on a Monday. No way. All right, let me go back to some of these comments. All right, Cole, they still have a little say in college basketball, right? We talked about that. A little bit about sports. All right, Myers, what's a little bit? Tell me, what's your favorite sport? Favorite sport and favorite teams. Let's go there. Cole, after the playoffs got put in, place for college football, NCAA lost everything. Yeah, it did. Because even with the semifinal and final, and you understand why they expanded again. And it does make it a little bit more intriguing. But now let's see this year, because I know a lot of people thought Alabama should have won last year, and they had the 3 losses, and they would have been much better than Indiana. And I get why Indiana made it in, and they only had 2 losses, I believe. But it's college football. Even though it is compelling, it's riveting, it's made the regular season count even more for not just 4 teams, for now 12 teams. But, it's just changed to the point where it becomes watered down. It becomes, even to a certain extent, oversaturated, because it's like you have too much to watch, especially with the NFL. And the NFL just oversaturated their product big time. And I don't want to hear it. And people can have the fantasy guys, and I'm not into fantasy football. I know as crazy as that may sound, but I've never gotten into it. To me, I think as a sports fan, my die-in-the-wool craziness kook that I am, it's immoral. And people say, JAYREELZ, what are you, nuts? Immoral? I mean, the sport isn't doing anything to you think about this. And let me expound on this, because I have a goof with this. Whether you do or don't know, I'm a huge Steeler fan. And Miles, I'll get to your last comment in a second. I'm a huge Steeler fan. So let's say if I was to participate in any one of these fantasy drafts, I'm not drafting any Ravens. I'm not drafting any Bengals. I'm not drafting any Browns right off the rip. I'm not. And that's hard, because you got Lamar Jackson, you got Derrick Henry, you got Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow, T. Higgins. Browns players, the quarterback's probably not going to do anything this year, whether it is Joe Flacco or not. And their receiving core, Jerry Jeudy? All right, fine. I'm not drafting those guys, because I see those teams twice a year as a Steeler fan. So you mean to tell me that I have to root for the Steelers, which of course is first and foremost, but then I have to root for Jerry Jeudy to have a big game offensively, or Derrick Henry to run roughshod over a Steeler defense, or to have a Bengal to rack up like 200 yards receiving and 3 touchdowns, and I have to root for that as well? No, I'm not doing that. No way. And it's bad enough I have to think, like, who else are the Steelers playing throughout the course of the year? Oh, they're playing Buffalo, so I'm not going to draft Josh Allen. I'm not doing it. That's where it's immoral. Because I'm not selling out on a fantasy football draft, because on that given Sunday, if they play up against my favorite team, that, all right, well, the Steelers got blown out, but Josh Allen had 42 fantasy points. Nonsense. Throw that in the garbage, in the trash. And I'm in the small minority when it comes to that. But guess what? To me, it's about rooting for the jersey, the colors, the team. It's not about fantasy and trying to, oh, well, hey, let me see what my fantasy team's doing, my draft. If everybody else does it, that's fine. And people could ask me, oh, should I draft this guy or that guy? Now, I don't know about the whole fantasy point situation, but I know players and their stats. If somebody's going to ask me, JAYREELZ, should I draft Justin Jefferson in the first round? I would say, I don't know, it's risky because their quarterback is J.J. McCarthy. But if they still had Sam Darnold, I would say, yeah, why not? But it's a joke how people just get so wrapped up in fantasy, but that's the NFL. Between gambling, the fantasy, that's why it's so popular. And that's why it's the greatest sport in the country. Now, I beg to differ because, again, as we talked about a few minutes ago, how sports evolving and trending in a certain direction, but that's not the NFL I grew up on. And people can say, well, hey, so what? That's not the NFL you grew up on. Well, things are going to change. Changes everything, whether it's movies, music, and we just talked about it with music earlier, the Melly Mikes of the world. And I get it. There's going to be artists that are going to come out with music, etc. And the younger generation is going to like that, just like my generation liked a certain genre or whatever. And then the older generation, my parents say, turn that garbage off. I get it. It is just going to be not necessarily cyclical, but it's generational. And it's just going to continue as long as this planet is still spinning on its axis. But yeah, that's how I feel about fantasy. And that goes for everything. I met a guy at a wedding on Saturday, and he does rotisserie baseball. And he's like, yo, I can't get enough of it, so on and so forth. I just nodded my head. I said, all right, yeah, great. I didn't say anything. And we talked baseball, whatever, but he didn't ask me or get my opinion of it, because if he did, I would have said, nah, I wouldn't do it at gunpoint. And I know that's a stretch, people, but it just goes to show you how much I have no interest in fantasy sports. None. Despite the fact that there isn't a half hour that goes by without me checking something that's happening in the news, sports news, that is, on the various sites, sports talk radio, etc. I just can't get enough of it. It's been like that since birth. And that's why when it comes to me talking sports, I do what I do. All right, let me see. Any other comments here? Hold on. Let me get back to that. All right. Miles, I'm finally about to be 20 years old. Finally. Wait a minute. You said you're 37 and 17. So are you in the middle? What's going on there? Could you confirm that? No vodka. Football, soccer, basketball. All right. What's your favorite football team? Oh, maybe you already put that down. Hold on. Football, soccer, basketball. So who are your three favorite teams? If you could expound on that, please, I'd appreciate it. Cole, as a Michigan super fan, I can be honest that this was... Oh, without question. Oh, of course. Yeah, Jim Harbaugh would have gotten a bigger suspension if that was, let's say, if what happened 2 years ago was in the even early 2000s. But even before that, absolutely. Without a doubt. Cowboys, Lakers, soccer. And wipes and racism, okay. Make my channel more than sports? What do you want me to talk about? Miles, what would you like for me to talk about other than sports? If you want to talk about life, and not that I'm a life coach or anything, if you want to talk about life, you want to talk about finding your purpose, your passion, stuff like that, I'm all about it. But I don't know if that's going to, maybe some people will gravitate to that, because I'm not talking politics, no way, shape, or form. Entertainment, yeah, like, movies and stuff, but yeah, and I could talk about it, but no, that's my wheelhouse. Sports, you can wake me up 3 o'clock on a Wednesday morning to go talk sports in an alley with a bunch of guys that want to talk sports, and I'm there. And it wouldn't bother me in the least. Whereas anything else, because I don't have the love for it, I can't wait to see Aiden Hutchinson this year. He's going to, I'm sure he's going to. And that's an excellent point, Cole, because with the leg injury he suffered last year and having to sit out, and even though the Lions had a big year, we know what happened in the playoffs, but I'm sure if there's any guy that's going to be, and you know what? He would be the one guy that I would look at as the Defensive Player of the Year this year, because I'm sure he is going to wreak havoc throughout the league. And for a guy of his ilk, and a guy that before the injury was definitely in the top few players as far as defensive, pass rushers, the Myles Garrett, the TJ Watts, Trey Hendricksons, Micah Parsons. He's in that discussion. So I totally agree with you on that one. My bad phone glitch. Wow, what happened? You got dropped off? You got bumped out? But you're right. I asked you, Miles, I should make my channel more than just sports. What should I talk about? I'd be curious to hear what you have to say about that. So anyway, my podcast pregame. I also got to draw a name out of a hat to get my guest for Wednesday's live stream, 12 noon Eastern time. And then, of course, I'll have my podcast pregame on Thursday as well. What do I think happens to Micah Parsons? I think he's going to stay in Dallas. But the crazy thing is, Cole, with the way Jerry Jones is talking, when they ask him, oh, do you see him in uniform? This was a couple weeks ago. Do you see him in uniform opening night against the Eagles? No. And I think he said something last week in reference to Micah Parsons, and that was a situation where Jones pretty much didn't elaborate on that everything was status quo. And my way of thinking is, well, let's trade the guy then. He could get a ton back, number one. Number two, I know it'll be a situation where I see what you wrote there, Miles. Give me a second. I see that he's a big part of your defense, but if you really don't think you're going to re-sign him, and listen, we could only go back to last year when he signed CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott in the 11th hour prior to the start of the season. So that's why I think he's going to stay, and they'll work out a deal despite Parsons saying that he's done, that he no longer is going to play in Dallas. I know you had that Instagram or whatever he posted on Twitter. I think he stays. But Jerry Jones, I said this a couple weeks ago on my podcast, he needs to shut up. If I'm Stephen Jones' son or somebody in the front office, family member, I get it. He owns the team. He can say whatever he wants. But how many other owners in the NFL talk after games, talk after practices, during practices? I mean, nobody does. There's no other owner in the NFL that does that. And we could go on down the list. Not the Maras, not the Rooneys, maybe David Tepper, but you haven't heard from David Tepper this year in Carolina. Go on down the list. The Raven owner, Steve Bisciotti, have you heard from him? No. So that's why it's a joke. They just need to take the microphone away from him, despite the fact that he has never met a microphone or a camera that he hasn't liked. And I appreciate I got 10 people already in the chat, so, or not maybe in the chat, but in the, So I appreciate the double digits for those who are hopping on board, if you're wondering what I'm talking about here. I'm kind of all over the map talking Dallas Cowboys right now. Miles, money, talk about songs, how are bad, and that's it, I guess. That's not good. I'm going to talk about money, where I'm not a finance guy. Talk about how songs are bad. What do you want me to do? Do you want me to talk about every genre of music, how the music is terrible or whatever? People are going to tune me out in a heartbeat. And if that's it, then listen, I'm probably going to attract a 14-year-old, but that's not what I'm trying to do here. If I attract a 14-year-old into sports, that's all right. But I'm not going to talk about getting paid or money or whatever. That's just not me. So I don't know what to tell you, Miles. I agree with you. He stays in Dallas, just something for the media. But that's it. Cole, you hit it right in the head. That's what it is. That is exactly what it is. And of course, we know the star, America's team, Jerry Jones. He cannot help himself to say whether it's on his mind, not on his mind, it doesn't matter. And it becomes a soap opera. It's a three-ring circus. And that's why, even more so, that's why people hate the Cowboys. Because even when they were good in the 90s, because they had great players, and I understand that was Jerry in the early years of his ownership of the team, and then making all the licensing deals with Nike at the time and doing things that no owner had done, where he was working out deals with big-time brands, and nobody ever heard of that. Now, George Steinbrenner had done that with the Yankees prior to that, where he had Adidas all over the old Yankee Stadium, and there was rumors that was going to be Adidas Park at Yankee Stadium. I don't know if you recall going back to the 90s, but so what he's doing isn't anything new as far as sports, but for the NFL, certainly was. But yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate Funny, Kimmy. I'm gonna get to your comment in a second. Because I've gotten a comment like that and many comments like that over the years. But that's the deal with Jerry with the Cowboys, because they know, and that's why the first takes of the world, they always start with that. And I get it. Stephen A. knocks the Cowboy fan, and I get it that they're a ratings magnet because of Jerry. And but imagine if the Cowboys in the 90s, with them winning and all the off the field stuff between Michael Irvin, Eric Williams, I mean, they would, I don't even know. I was going to use a sexual connotation, but I didn't want to do that. I want to kind of keep it a little clean. But yeah, they would have, how the hell would it? They would have busted all over themselves. Let's put it that way, to kind of keep it a little cleanish, I guess. I mean, there is no way. Cowboys winning, trouble off the field, the personalities they had, Emmett, Dion, Michael Irvin, Troy, although Troy wasn't really in the mix like that, but he is the quarterback of the Cowboys. Forget about it. That would have just been way too much. Clint Eastwood 12, where's my hubby at? Do not have a husband, so. And even, Ice Spice is bad. Listen, I don't listen to Ice Spice either. She's from the Bronx, but that's about it. All right, here we go. Do you think if Aaron Hernandez was still alive and didn't do the things he did, would he have been successful? Kimmy. And the funny thing is, the reason why I saw Aaron Hernandez is people, I know you're going to laugh, maybe cold, they'll probably get a kick out of this. Just the other day, somebody made a reference because I shaved my head. So, of course, there are going to be comparisons as far as the looks. It's like, yo, Aaron Hernandez, he's been resurrected. And look, Cole may have answered the question for me. Yep. Wasn't coming back from it. Yeah, and that's the other thing, too, Kimmy. We could say that if he was alive and didn't do the things, but he was already, right, we could maybe even talk CTE, but he was doing these things even in college. I'm not going to say he was killing people, but he had a bad reputation at University of Florida. Why was he drafted in the 4th round? That guy was a first-round talent. And if I understand you can't take away the stuff he did off the field, but for this discussion, if he was not that type of guy, I'm sure he would have had a great career. I mean, he was certainly on his way to doing that, and it probably would have prolonged Rob Gronkowski's career in the process when you think about it. Now, Gronkowski's going to be a lock first ballot Hall of Famer, and I won't say Aaron Hernandez was on that path too. He would have been a very good tight end. I'm sure Gronkowski would have been featured a lot more as he was when he was in New England, but at the same time, I think Hernandez would have had a very good career. But obviously, Jacqueline, what's going on? Yeah, I believe you were in the chat a couple weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken, or in the room. So I appreciate you jumping back on board. So, yeah, I think Hernandez would have had a very good career. Who knows if he would have stayed in New England all those years, because I'm sure he would have wanted to get paid. And as it was, if you recall, he did get a 5-year, $40 million contract prior to all of the extracurricular stuff. So obviously he couldn't get out of his own way, and that's the reason why. Real Madrid, Miles? All right. Now, who's your all-time favorite Laker? I think I know who it is, but I'll be surprised if it's anyone but number 8 and 24. Cole, 90s Cowboys was Jimmy. Jimmy left. Barry got a Super Bowl with his team and then fell apart. Yeah. Imagine if Jimmy would have stayed. They probably would have won 4 straight Super Bowls, because they would have won that Super Bowl. They would have beaten San Francisco in the championship game, and they would have played the Chargers. They would have beaten them. So they could have won 4. I only have $2 for a PS5. Jacqueline, hello one more time. Felicia. Or Miles, that's your grandma? Is that right? If you can confirm that, yeah, it makes sense. It's tragic how things played out. Yeah, no doubt, Kimmy. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just terrible. A young career that was, and he played in the Super Bowl, caught a touchdown in the Super Bowl too, 46 against the Giants, and yeah, terrible. I mean, Miles, you told me about this channel. So, Jacqueline, is Miles your grandson? Can we confirm that? Jimmy stayed. They went 4-6. Oh, without question. 100%. But obviously, the ego, and that was the beginning of the end when you think about it for Jerry Jones. Because, and what I mean by that, as far as winning goes, we can talk about how much money he's made, how successful, etc. I get that. But, and here's the crazy thing, and I've told this to my cousin who's a diehard, oh, wow, look at that, Jacqueline. Well, thank you. And I'm glad you clarified that. I appreciate that. And he told you about the channel. All right. Well, I want to confirm his age because he said 17 one day, 37, and he said 20 today. So I don't know. Maybe you shouldn't do that. I don't want you to call your grandson out. But I'm curious if you want to answer that. And listen, I love that Miles has been a part of this. He found me on here. He wants me to talk about other things in sports, but I appreciate both of you, of course, being in the room, spending precious time out of your day to listen to what it is I have to say. But Cole, back to you. I said this to my cousin, who is the biggest Cowboy fan that I know, and we watched Super Bowl 30 together, January 28th, 1996. And they just finished winning 3 out of the past 4 Super Bowls at that time. And all these years later, and I brought this up with him a few years ago, and even more so not too far off, maybe around the time of the draft. I said to him, I said, if I would have told you on that night, after winning 3 out of 4, that not only would you be nowhere near a Super Bowl appearance, but you wouldn't even sniff a conference championship over the course of the next 25 years, he would have looked at me and been like, yo, what are you smoking? Not even a Super Bowl appearance or even a conference championship game appearance? He said, yo, Jay, you're crazy. There's no way. But you know what? If I would have had a crystal ball and predicted that, I'd be a rich man because they have been nowhere near. Is that right? January 28th? Oh, wow. Look at that. Cool. All right, I got to remember that come January or late January. Awesome, man. Thanks for sharing that. Oh, you told me about this channel. Yeah, he could be a little bit of a jokester. Yeah, no, he is. He has. He's asked for an apartment tour. He's asked me to play this one song that I played today, which I wasn't really a fan of. I mean, I'm sure you're probably, listen. I won't go as far as saying that I'm an old man, but I'm old enough to know that today's music is just not good. And I'd be honest in my assessment because I don't want to judge something I haven't heard, but I listened to it a little bit before and it just wasn't doing it for me. So I've had a few Super Bowls for my birthday. Yes, not anymore, but back in the day. Yes, I remember. In fact, that one was on Super Bowl 30. I know Super Bowl 23, San Francisco, Cincinnati, the second one, because one of my dear friends in life who's a Bengal fan was in the building when they lost that game. That's the John Taylor touchdown with about, 16 seconds to go. That was also on January 28th. And let me see, was there another? I think there was another one, too, off the top of my head. I'm trying to remember. But I know Super Bowl 30 for sure and Super Bowl 23. But yeah, excellent point. Yeah, he loves that song. And I guess that's his favorite artist right now. When the Lions lost to San Francisco. Oh, yes. Oh, that had to be, oh my God. I couldn't even imagine. A championship game. And that was a game that, let's face it, I was rooting for the Lions big time. And I know those 2 4th downs, instead of kicking the field goals there, he went for it, and I get it. That's Dan Campbell. He's a riverboat gambler. I hope he learned from that. But it's funny because if you remember in the first half of that game when they were up 21-7, and I forgot what it was. Maybe it was 3rd and goal, or maybe it was 2nd and goal, but it was like 4 seconds left, and he decided to kick the field goal to make it 24-7. I thought to myself in the second half, I was like, wait, why didn't you go back to that first? And listen, he went for it on the first time and failed. But then he went down there again on another 4th and whatever it was and failed also. I could see him going for it once. And if he wasn't successful, but he went for it again. Kick the field goal, get the points. And as it was, they lost by 3 points. That loss could have been my fault. Yeah, I know you like that song, Miles. Okay, Graham, you can leave now. That's funny. Yeah, Grandma wants to stay, or I'll take Jacqueline. I'll be respectful there. But, yeah, that loss could have been... Now, how could that have been your fault, Cole? I'm curious. Was it one of those things where you felt like, oh, we got this game in the bag? Trust me, in my 20s, I did that all the time. I was the type where I looked at, here's a great example. 1994, when NFL in the playoffs that year, where Pittsburgh beat Cleveland, and it went on to an AFC Championship game, and then San Diego was playing in Miami. And I did not want to play the Dolphins because that was Dan Marino. If they would have won, they would have played the game in Pittsburgh. We know that Marino's from Pittsburgh. And at the time, I'm thinking to myself, oh, no, they want to probably have it fixed, quote unquote. Not seriously, but fixed from the standpoint of they want Dan Marino back in the Super Bowl. So what better setting for him to go back to Pittsburgh, win the game in Pittsburgh where he grew up, and then go on to a Super Bowl and win the game. As it was, Pete Stoyanovich, the kicker, I believe went wide left or right. I want to say it was wide right late in the fourth quarter, which I think would have probably would have tied the game. No, maybe it would have won the game. I think the final was 20-19 or 21-20, something like that. Maybe 24-23. And because he missed that kick, I said to myself, the Steelers are going to the Super Bowl. We're going to beat the Chargers. It's going to be cold next week. Chargers are a warm weather team. We're going to beat them, so on and so forth. And then what happened? The week later in Pittsburgh, it was a gloomy, cloudy day. Temperatures was 55 degrees. It was a mild day. And we all know Steelers lost that game on 2 plays. The Alfred Papunu touchdown, which I believe was a halfback toss, and the Tony Martin, Tim McKyer. To this day, that loss still stings. And the Steelers have won 2 Super Bowls since then, but brutal. My wife, I hear that. Well, you got your championship. That's the good thing. So now, since you got that on your mantle, now I'm sure you want that Lions Super Bowl victory. Only because they've never been to a Super Bowl. And I think I may pick them to go to the Super Bowl this year. Excuse me, I haven't thought about my Super Bowl picks yet. It's still early. But, and I picked the Lions last year. I think I picked Buffalo, Detroit. So, but yeah. I have my NFL preview coming September 6th. I may actually do it on the live stream, believe it or not. I mean, I'd rather do it as a podcast, but I may just do it on the live stream, and I'll just dedicate it all to that unless the baseball playoffs, something's going on. But you know what? I just thought of that, and I could just rip the audio from there. Not official, but I may have my NFL preview on my live stream. I'll see if I can get a guest, too. Let's see. Jacqueline, oh, please. Has he been doing anything rude here? No, he hasn't. No, wait, he did say something. Wait, I got to, just to be fair, Miles, let me see. Yeah, he called and said Scooter Doo said hi. I don't know who Scooter Doo is. Hold on. He wants to be a guest on the live stream. But I talk sports. He wants to talk about a bunch of different things. But I don't know. Maybe one day I'll give him a live on here. Let me see something. I gotta look into that, but no, I'll keep that as is right now. So, let's see. I don't see it this year. I like watching this dude. Oh, thanks, Miles. I appreciate that. I really do. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. But you say you like, and listen, I don't know what it is that you like, but I appreciate that. I really do. I don't see it this year for. Yeah. No, and that's the one thing. It's funny, Cole. That's the one thing that I respect about you as a fan, because listen, I'm Mets, Islanders hockey, Steelers, Celtics, Georgetown Hoyas. I don't have a college football team though, but I'm always steeped in realism that just because a team has a great start or has a great regular season doesn't mean that the postseason is a lock, guarantee, etc. Listen, the Mets were 45-21, had the best record in the sport at the time, and never once have I broke out my pom-poms. Hey, this is a year. Nope. And I understand that's 39 years of being a jaded, cynical Met fan, but still, I'm not going to sit here to think that because a team does great in the regular season. We talked about it with the Brewers, who got their win streak snapped, and among other things. But yeah, I am into the objective factual and from a real standpoint. Not any of this break out the pom-poms, no matter how optimistic I may be, they're going to win. No. That's not how I roll. All right, I'm going to get off. Have a blessed day. Yes, you too, Jacqueline. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Hopefully we'll see you sometime down the road. I don't know if you subscribe to the channel. If you subscribe, that'd even be better. But thank goodness, Miles says. I got to do a couple things before I go. You can keep going on with the comments. I'll follow up. But yeah, because I got to record my podcast pregame today. I'm going to talk Dodgers as they take over the West again. No shock there. Phillies, Zach Wheeler. That was like some news that went under the radar this weekend. So I definitely want to unpack that. NFL, I want to talk Jackson Dart, Aston Genty, and Dylan Gabriel. NBA, I don't know how true this is, but with the NBA being on NBC next year and they're going to have the Tuesday night package and they may do a doubleheader, are they really going to start the West Coast games at 11 p.m. on the East? If that's the case, I got to pound that. I'll also talk about the UFC fight the other night, which I didn't watch, but I saw the highlights and I saw what happened with Dricus du Plessis losing, which was surprising. But I'll talk about that. And then I got to take a couple names out of the hat here. Speaking of hat, I left it in the room. And I want to be fair. Let me see if I just shake this up. All right, I got the two names here. Let's see, Cole. I didn't have big hopes for last year, and it showed. Yeah, you guys were decimated defensively. You had some, I mean, obviously Hutchinson was gone. I mean, you had a lot of guys out of your lineup, and that was crucial. Kimmy, I have no clue when it comes to sports, but my older siblings are Broncos, ride or die. That's an excellent assessment there, Kimmy. And Kimmy, you have no clue when it comes to sports. All right, let me ask you, what is it that you like? Because this live, I talk about my podcast, I'll talk sports, but I'm open to talk about anything, as you can tell, between what Miles and I've been talking about. But because my Wednesday live stream is mostly sports, but I do a live stream every Monday and Thursday at 9:30 Eastern, and I'm open to whatever. So I'm curious to know, what would you like for me to talk about? And if you haven't subscribed, I'd appreciate it too. But yeah, give me a clue as to what you like or what I can discuss. It could be something on TV, it could be movies, it could be whatever. And I'll be honest, I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, I watched that show and I don't watch the show. Or, oh yeah, that artist is great. And meanwhile, I can't list their discography or what have you. So yeah, I'm open to whatever on this. Even though I know Cole, my guy Cole, we're here talking about Lions and Wolverines, which is all good. But all right, now I got a couple names here. Brent, my guy from north of the border in Ontario, and James D, who's from Queens. These are the two guys that are remaining. And who knows, Cole, if you want, next week, new Superman, I'll talk about that. I saw it. Yeah, Cole, if you want, I can even have you on. Maybe, you know what? Maybe I'll have you on before the football season if you want to be a guest. Just let me know. Because I know you popped in on the live stream last week and you popped on my lives, and obviously you're a good, not only a good fan, but a good guy too. So, hey, man, that's what it's all about. All right, here we go, right? So I got the two. I'm just going to drop one. Well, they both came out, of course. Hold on. What about the new Superman movie review? All right, here's what I got to say about it. It was all right. Yeah, a lot of the Marvel movies, oh, that's not Marvel, of course, DC, but a lot of the comic book hero movies, even the Avengers stuff, I'm just not into that. And it's funny because as a boy, I was into the comic books and stuff, but yeah, and I get it, you know, Endgame and all that and whatever. I'm not trying to say they're bad movies, but they don't do anything for me. They really don't. You know? I'm sorry. Lois is wifey. Oh, you really? I think she's kind of a plain Jane, if you ask me. All right, so I just dropped one here. I got the other in my hand, but the one that I dropped is the one I'm going to pick. All right, so this one I'm saving to the side. They'll be for next week. And here is the one I just dropped. I can't think of a top. Oh, hang on. I'll get to that in a second. Let me just see. Uh-oh. My man Brent. I know he's not on live, but I'll hit him up. He'll be the guest on Thursday, and he's also a very good fan, big-time supporter. So Brent and James are going to be next week. So those are my next two guests for Wednesday, 12 noon Eastern. And then, of course, podcast pregame on Thursday, 9:30. All right, Kimmy. I can't think top of my head a topic I thought brought up Aaron because I watched documentaries. Well, Kimmy, thank you. I appreciate that very much. You subscribing. Hopefully you keep coming back for more. And I know a lot of the posts, like my shorts, I post a lot of shorts about sports. I post a bunch of different videos. I post my podcast. I have some lifestyle stuff on my channel if you want to go back and look at that. But I intersperse it with different things, mainly around sports. I got a critique video on Denzel Washington, which is forthcoming. You definitely want to see that because I got a thing or two to say to Denzel. And I know that may be sacrilege, but it's not nasty. It's not personal by any means. It's just business. So based on his recent comments about opinionaires and sports talk, these talking heads, they get too much of a platform, blah, blah. I'm like, what? I had to clap back at him. But no, thank you, Kimmy. I appreciate that. And yes, I know you mentioned Aaron. So you like documentaries. Real quick, what's your favorite documentary? Yes, I do have a PS3, but it's not connected. It's in storage, Miles. Sorry. And I don't play any of the games. If I played, it would be Madden. And even then, I haven't played Madden 15 years. So that goes to show you right there. Yeah, but the Superman movie, going back to that, yeah, I mean, it was good. I mean, no, I won't say it was good. Listen, it was what it was. Was it something that blew me away? I mean, there's been a million Superman movies. I mean, enough with the Superman movies. We get it. You know, dating back to Christopher Reeve, to Henry Cavill, Men of Steel, Superman Lives. I mean, enough. I mean, all these are the Spider-Man movies, the Batman movies. It's enough. But I get it. They're cash cows. And that's what it's all about with Hollywood. It's about the money. I get it. Devil May Cry. I heard of the game. Never played it. Don't know what it's about. Sorry, Miles. I don't know what to tell you. But anyway, I got to hop off in a couple minutes. I got to start recording my podcast. I'm looking at the time now. It's 10:18. So for those who hopped on board today, I appreciate it. And Capcom, yeah, I guess that's the, what you call it? The company that designed the game. But yeah, hopefully, Kimmy, you get back to me on what your favorite documentaries are. I'd be curious to know about that. Let me see if I can give you a good documentary. Oh, the Menendez Brothers? Yeah, I didn't see that. That was on Netflix. Let me see. What was a good documentary? A more recent one, too. Yeah, I don't want to go back in time and be like, oh, you see that documentary back in, the 90s or whatever. What was a good documentary? Man, I'm drawing blanks right now. What did I see recently, documentaries? What's a good documentary, come to think of it? I'm trying to think of the title now. I'm drawing blanks. Jimmy what? I don't know. What's Jimmy what? Let me look that up. Because hold on a second. Documentaries. In the last, hold on. Yeah, no, I didn't see the Titan one. Yeah, I mean, come on. I mean, rest in peace to the people that were on that, but I don't know. No, that's not it, jeez. I can't think of the name of it. Yeah, and I'm not into the, what's it called either. Yeah, there's a lot of good ones. I mean, yeah, I like the food ones are good. One of my favorites is What the Health. I don't know if you've ever seen that. That's one of my favorites. What else? Yeah, I'm not into the true crime stuff. Not my thing. Yeah, I can't think. If I come up with it. No, that's not it. Jeez. All right, I don't want to bore you. I'm over here with drawing blanks here. But What the Health is good. If you haven't seen that, that's one of my favorites. And then I'm trying to think of the name of the other one. It was a food-related one, too. Yeah, I'm into the food-related stuff a lot because, yeah, I mean, when we talk about health and we talk about, and again, could be highly controversial. Yeah, what the health is called. Because, there's a lot of people that look into certain things like, oh, I can't eat this, I can't eat that. And listen, I'm not a nutritionist or whatever, but yeah, when you look like the list of ingredients in foods and all that, like we should be eating whole foods, natural foods, stuff that has 1 to 3 ingredients. Just like my guy Cole does. Cole goes fishing and that's the ingredient. I mean, God forbid that if it's, let's say it's in a lake that people's contaminating it, which obviously you hope that's not the case, where you look at the oceans with oil spills and things of that nature, but that's a whole other story. But my point is that if you know you're going to catch fish, like Cole does, I know I'm shouting him out here, but that's the only thing that's in there. It's not a boxed item that has 1,000 different ingredients in there with all these different dyes and chemicals and preservatives, additives, etc., where that's the stuff that's killing us. And like documentaries like that I love, or even sugar for that matter. And you can have like sugar from a fruit, which is healthy, where the refined sugar, the processed sugar, I mean, forget it. You don't want to have that. And let me see, what is that? What is Unc looking on his computer? Yeah, I was trying to look for a documentary. Stuff make get cake. All right. Is that from Melly Mike's, what's it called? Lyrics. But yeah, I like those type of documentaries, which I've been compelled to watch. Not necessarily recently, that was a while ago. But with that being said, people, yeah, I got to land this plane because I got to connect my camera. I got to get started with my podcast for today. Kimmy, I appreciate you stopping on board and subscribing. Thank you so much. Cole, my guy, thank you as always. Miles, you're the first one on, so you know what? Got to give it up. Thank you so much. Shouts to your grandmother, Jacqueline. I don't want to forget anybody here along the way. I think there was one other person that popped in. Nope. Oh, Clint Eastwood, yes. Even though I know he was asking, where's my hubby? But yeah, no hubby to be found on my end. And yeah, I think that was it. Those are the people I need to shout out today. All right, guys. So enjoy your Monday. I'll definitely stop by again. Have a busy life, but I'll come back. What do you do, Kimmy? I'm curious. Yeah, I'm back on Wednesday. You'd have to go to you can just go to my YouTube channel. You'll see the link. Wednesday at 12 noon, and I don't know what part of the world for all I know, you could be in another part of the world, for all I know. But yeah, but definitely, if you're around this time in the morning, Thursday, 9:30 a.m. I work at Amazon as a package handler. All right, so you live in the States. You don't have to tell me where, what time zone. How about that? Are you in the East Coast, West, Mountain, Central? But no, I hear you, Kimmy. I know you're busy. I appreciate you jumping on board. Look, Miles, Colorado. All right, cool. That's awesome. Yes, thank you, Kimmy. Again, I know I thank people profusely on here, but that's only because, one more time, you probably saw that this guy was on live. It's like, who is this guy? And you hopped on board and you subscribed. So, I got to be not only grateful, but thankful for your participation. And if you're even willing to come back, even more so. So thank you for that too. But with that being said, people, to all that I shouted out, thank you so much for stopping by, carving out precious time out of your day to listen to what it is I have to say about sports, about life, about music, about documentaries, about the Cowboys, whatever it may be. At least have a tour of how maybe one day I'll do that. I don't know when, but maybe one day there, Miles. So enjoy the rest of your Monday. Thanks again. Podcast coming out around 12:30 Eastern. Definitely check that out. Subscribe, rate, review, throw me for likes, the whole nine. I'd appreciate it. And until Wednesday, next live stream, high noon Eastern time. Go to my YouTube channel. Just look for the link. I'll have it posted there tomorrow. And until then, everybody, on the flip, baby.